Hey everyone, it's been a hot minute since I've been here. I think like 3 months. Actually, wait, no, probably 5 months. I've been gone for a really long time. But hey, I'm back. Kind of back to get an update video. There's a lot that happened. Ever since the last devlog, we talked about Thinwick, which is now called Suit for Hire. We talked about that project and how I was going to be on board. Now, it's been about 6 months of working on that project, and there is a lot. So we're going to get through that. But first, I want to quickly talk about our sponsor for this video. This video is sponsored by Xsola's Site Builder. Site Builder is a super intuitive and easy to use site customizer. You can easily set up a landing page for your game in under a minute. If you have no clue how to start filling in your website, they have a tool that'll use your Steam page's content to fill in the site, giving you a head start. If you have an existing domain or plan on getting one, you can use that in conjunction with Xsola's Site Builder. And there's more, like version control, which allows you to revert to earlier versions of your site, being able to add custom HTML, even being able to add localization to your site, something that's super big when it comes to expanding your community to other places of the world. Now, you're probably wondering, Crimson, hold on, how much does that even cost? I'm on a tight budget of $5. Well, don't worry, because there's no upfront cost to get your site up and running. It's only 5% of transactions that are done on your site. For a game dev like me who doesn't specialize in web coding, it's great because you don't need any coding skills whatsoever to create a website that fits your needs. You can even sell game keys, pre-orders, subscriptions, and more all in one place on your website. They'll handle the payments and checkout process for you so you can focus on what you do best, creating games. You can check out the description, use my link to learn more about Site Builder. Thanks a lot to Xsola for sponsoring this video. Anywho, I'm going to do this video in a bit of a different structure, because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to do things on a monthly structure. Let's go on ahead and start with December. I had a few people that talked about a project that I worked on that was previously a game jam game. Now we were like, hey, let's take this and actually turn it into a product or a game that we could actually sell and release and stuff. And the old version can still actually be played. I'll put that down in the description if you're curious. So the team structure was me, a programmer, and a level designer. My tasks were basically to take the levels that the level designer is going to make and then create environment art, stuff that looks cooler, looks a lot nicer, something that can sell. Because if you look at the old game, it looks like shit. So that's what I did. I also did UI, sound, and some other art stuff, just filling in whatever I can, whatever roles are needing to be filled. So that's what I did in December. I didn't really work on anything. I actually went into January, and in January there was a lot of like pre-production on my side, just gathering references and stuff for the level designer and for myself so I know what I have to create. The programmer was working on a Fog of War, which we used at the time and we're not using anymore, so that was kind of a waste of time. And I wasn't really in engine yet. I was just gathering references, getting some pictures, taking some fancy shit, seeing what I can do with the video game. I wasn't really working on it because I had to do contract work, and I was working on Ronin a little bit more at that time. So I was really busy. I had my whole plate filled. After that, in February, one of our developers was too busy and couldn't work on the project anymore, so the level designer had to back out of the project. So I basically added level design to my list of things I already had to do. That list was already pretty big, so adding level design basically doubled my list. The next 2 or 3 months was just spent on level design. So, moving into March, I delved into what seemed like hell, honestly. I had to work on essentially 16 levels because that's the goal I set for myself. And while I was working on those 16 levels, I was in constant mental pain. Level design and environment art are actually one of my worst skills at the moment. I can model props and texture them, but actually putting them in a full-on scene is crazy to me. But hey, I did it, and it was a great experience that really is going to help me when I get back on Ronin. For those wondering, you probably haven't seen any updates on Ronin in a few months, especially if you haven't checked in on my Twitter or followed me on Twitch, where I do a lot of streaming and I do it like daily weekday streaming. Ronin is kind of on a pause. It's kind of on a hiatus. It's on vacation right now. With the whole COVID situation, it's probably the best time for it to take a vacation out in the Bahamas or something. There's still stuff that has been happening. We've been thinking about where we want to bring Ronin once we get back on it. Kind of coming up with ideas and just overall fleshing out our game design. So in that way, once we do get back into it, we can be like, okay, this is what we got. These are the foundations we have. Let's just try to strengthen them and bring them in a proper direction. Alongside that, we also got a MegaGrant for Ronin, which is really nice. And that's really going to help me out, help the team out. You know, little gaps that we had on a financial basis are really going to be kind of filled. And I can spend maybe like 3 months full-time working on both Ronin and Suit for Hire. Also, alongside that, we, you know, thought of a bunch of stuff for the game design. Like I talked about earlier, we talked about procedural generation, which might actually be happening. We might be moving the city that you play in Ronin to a procedural generation workflow. We're still kind of like fleshing it out and thinking about how we want to do it. Now is really the best time to think of these things because we have time to kind of, without working on the game, we can flesh out these concepts and ideas and kind of, you know, come up with something proper. So that's kind of what we're doing with Ronin, just so you know, so you're filled in. The game is not dead. In fact, I'm very excited to get back on it, get some art out and really figure out an art style that really fits the game and fits our, you know, timeline. Because I ain't spending another year working on that game. Hell nah, unless the game's in early access or something, you know what I mean? All right, anywho, we were talking about March. Now it's April, and unfortunately, our programmer left. So I was, you know, sitting alone in my chair thinking, wow, I have a whole video game that I need to work on. So I had a lot of things that I had to do. I had a lot of bugs to fix, like this one, for example. Did I just turn that dude into a box? It was the absolute pain of a month. But a few weeks later, we actually got Ronin's music artist to come on board to help with the soundtrack of the game. And I'm very excited. I think he's going to do a fantastic job, and he has been doing a fantastic job. But, you know, I think the most important thing out of all of this is I'm not alone anymore. And, of course, you know, alongside my giant list of roles that I had to do, environment art has been like the biggest thing of this month, and next month, and the month after that, and probably the month after that. Oh yeah, in April, I also worked a little bit on the boss fight for the game. It works okay. It has like 3 different phases. It has like 3 different weapons. It shoots like a minigun. It has like a grenade launcher. And then it has like a mortar thingy, which is pretty cool and works pretty well. I think alongside this, you're also going to have other enemies that attack you while you're trying to dodge all these attacks. So that's going to be pretty cool and definitely should keep the player on their toes. In May, yes, we got another person on board from Ronin's team. Our animator, we got Kyle on board. So now he's basically cleaning up some of the animations. Actually, currently he's making a bunch of brute animations for our Riot Shield enemy. So there's a lot of really good stuff coming. He cleaned up a bunch of current animations that we had, like dodges. So I'm really excited. Having a third person on board is definitely nice because then, you know, I can talk with other people and kind of get second opinions and third opinions on specific things. Sometimes that's the best thing to have when you're in a team. Staying solo, sometimes you get very, you know, tunnel visioned on specific mechanics or decisions that you want to make. So having other people tell you, hey, maybe that decision's stupid, or hey, you know, that's not bad, but we can adjust it, is a really good thing to have. Alongside getting another person on the team, we have finally come up with a proper developer name. Covert Games, Criminal Games, you know, that was shit. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like those names at all. But now we have a proper name, Godmode Interactive. I think it's the coolest name. I searched up online to see if anybody had it. You had a couple people that had something similar to it. But we got Godmode Interactive. And it's so good. I love that name. I feel like it's a proper future brand and just company name for our development team. Of course, the logo on screen is really work in progress. I haven't even come up with anything yet, but we're going to go through all of that at some point in the future. All right, so May was a really busy year. So I'm going to go through specific days and specific like little milestones that we reached throughout this month. On May 3rd, I started giving out playtesting keys to Twitch subscribers. So if you're subscribed on my Twitch stream, you can request a playtest key through our Discord. I'll link the Discord and my Twitch stream down below if you're interested. It supports me and also gets you a key, and then you can playtest it, provide feedback, bug reports, all that. So it's an all-around kind of cool little incentive, I guess. On the 6th, I made a really cool material for spinning and animated items by using rotate around axis and like a few other things with timers and stuff. It's a really good idea having this kind of stuff in the material. Of course, there's a few little issues, so that's why I kind of did like a flat shading for the base color. But this is a lot better because then the blueprint doesn't have to have a constant ticking thing that makes it move up and down location-wise and rotate. It's just not fun. On May 9th, I started to get art going into the game, at least for the trailer. I just wanted something that was placeholder-ish and kind of got the point across, you know, things like concrete and stuff. I also played around with some shaders to make the game look a little bit more interesting. This kind of like cell shading on the enemies and little dot kind of comic book effect on the ground and environment. May 12th, you might have known the game as Thin Wick, but now it is called Suit for Hire, which is kind of like a better name that suits the game more and kind of makes us stand out on our own. What I mean by that is, you know, Thin Wick, it's kind of like John Wick, which is one of the inspirations for the game. And that kind of, you know, whenever people see that, they'd be like, oh, it's a John Wick game, you know? That's not what we want. We want something that's like, it's an action shooter game. So we wanted to kind of stand out on our own and call it Suit for Hire. Basically, the player is a suit, which is like a job of just bounty hunting and, you know, contract work, assassination work, that kind of stuff. All of the players in the world are just suits, basically. So I think that works really well. I think it sounds pretty awesome. We took the original logo and kind of adjusted it for Suit for Hire. Of course, you're probably wondering, where is the 4? It's just a number. Yeah, I know. Okay, you're probably gonna look at it and be like, you idiot, why'd you do that? I don't know, I didn't know where to fit 4, okay? The logo doesn't fit it, okay, so I just did that. Next day, I woke up and I started working on more art. Yeah, that's really surprising, a whole different thing. This level looks pretty cool. It is a little short because there's not that many enemies, but something that I'd like to do down the line is maybe make it enemies, you know, running out of doorways and shit, and then that way that increases the amount of playtime that you have in that level, just by spawning more enemies, and it also makes it a little bit more interesting. That's something I'd like to do down the line. Of course, have I done it yet? And it's July? No. On May 19th, I actually did something pretty special. I did a subathon, which was pretty fun, but I did it a little differently. I did a game dev subathon, or the Devathon. Essentially, during the Devathon, people could actually work together. Anybody that supports the stream, it's not just them adding time to a timer, which is what a subathon usually is. It's usually somebody subscribes and that adds like maybe 30 seconds or a minute to a timer, which is what I did. But on top of that, I wanted something a little bit extra and kind of make it feel like a Kickstarter or something like that, where if people reach certain milestones, like 25 total subscribers during the day or during that stream, that would unlock something. So we had a bunch of things that you could unlock during the subathon, which was a lot of fun. Of course, I had a max time of 12 hours. Most likely, if we do another one, which we are actually, it's probably gonna be like 12 or 16 hours or something like that. Now, on the subject of doing another subathon, we are actually going to do one tomorrow, if I upload this on Monday. On the 27th of this month, we are going to be doing a subathon. I'll probably be starting at around 11 a.m. on my stream, and there'll be a max of probably 12 or 16 hours, and there will be new milestones as well that people can unlock, like for the game, having new content that goes into the game, and that's all based on the subathon. So if you want to support the stream or me, tune in, subscribe on the stream, and yeah, it's going to be a fun time. On May 22nd, I got new weapons in, like an assault rifle and a shotgun. And these can obviously be found throughout different levels. I'm going to probably nerf them a little bit and make it so they don't insta-kill. I kind of want the handgun that the suit has to kind of be like this special one-hit kill kind of gun. That's generally the basis of our gameplay, is you die in one hit and enemies die in one hit. But I feel like we could potentially change that and make it more interesting. You know, like enemies, and just keep shooting them a few times and they're just blah, 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 you know, something like that. Makes it really fun and interesting and kind of gruesome. On top of modeling new things, I also modeled our main character that looks like budget John Travolta. I even put some cloth physics on his suit and hair to make it when you're like running around and rolling and shooting enemies, you kind of see his hair flailing about and his suit kind of moving in the wind and whatnot when you're moving around. And of course, on the 24th, more environment artwork. Yeah, it's just a recurring thing. We just keep doing environment art. I'm going to be honest, one of the things we did, and I think it's probably like 40% at least, 40% of the game is marketplace assets. you got to save time somehow. And the thing that we did is, or the things that we're going to do, is make sure that these marketplace assets kind of just fit and blend into the game and don't stand out. That way, you know, people aren't like, that's a marketplace asset, what the hell, this is an asset flip, because that's a thing that a lot of players do. So we got to go in and kind of just make them fit within our world. Now, it's the 26th of May, and we were working super hard towards getting the game done for a trailer. I think I even spent like 12 or 14 hours working just straight on the trailer and just getting stuff done, which was an obscene amount of time, if I'm being completely honest. You know, we got things in like executions, and at the time we didn't actually have the actual system for how executions would trigger. Right now it's like a Doom system where you punch an enemy a few times or damage them a little bit, and then if you have a specific amount of willpower, and willpower is kind of like a thing that you get as you kill and punch enemies, you can hit E on them. But at the time, we didn't have that. So we literally made it so you could activate it at no cost by hitting the 1 or 2 key, just so we could have it in the trailer. That way we could have it and we can actually activate it. We wanted to just get something out, and that was kind of the announcement trailer or gameplay trailer that we released, which you can watch down below. I'll put a link to it in the description. You know, we just had to get something out there. That way we're, you know, getting a little bit of marketing going, which actually helped. We're at like, I think 1,000 wish lists right now. So I'd say that's kind of successful. I wish we had more, but you know, that's something we just have to work on and kind of prove ourselves like, hey, here's this cool ass game that you should buy. But in due time. All right, June. We added 2 more weapons. Of course, these were rewards that were unlocked during the first subathon. So, you know, there could be more weapons that might be unlockable in the next subathon. Who knows? We added an SMG and a DMR. The SMG shoots really fast, doesn't have that much accuracy. I do have to change the damage for it, but it's really cool. It's really fun to use, and it's actually like perfect in terms of how much camera shake there is and how much muzzle flash there is and all that kind of stuff. And the DMR is kind of a very powerful assault rifle that has a little bit of a slower firing rate, but also penetrates enemies. So you can line up 3 enemies, fire with your DMR, and hit all 3 of them. And of course, you know, it ain't a development month for Suit for Hire if we're not working on environment art. It's literally all of this month just been improving the visuals of the game. We had a lot of flack over our game's visual fidelity, and I completely agree. It didn't look great. But of course, you know, we had time constraints and stuff like that, and I wasn't really good at environment art. I'm still not good at environment art, if I'm being completely honest. I'm still learning all of that. This month, 25th currently, I worked a lot on the gameplay and just, you know, adding a Slowmo mode that looks really cool, that uses up your willpower. I added, you know, proper executions. I juiced up the game, adding in little effects, you know, changing up the HUD. All these kind of little things. I made it so, you know, little animations appear on the gun when you fire, all this little stuff. And I have more that I want to add, but it's definitely getting there. So that was a bit of a journey. You know, I learned a lot throughout the past 6 months, and definitely the past 2 months, I've learned a lot about environment art and just lighting and all that. And I'll be able to push all that experience towards Ronin, which will in turn make Ronin way better in the long run. For Suit for Hire, we had a lot on our Trello, on our to-do list. We had a lot to do. Things like adding in a settings menu and finishing up the main menu, adding difficulties, Kevlar, all of this. But hey, we did it. We got Kevlar in, we got difficulties. We have like 3 different difficulties and then a 4th one that you'll be able to unlock when you beat the game on hard, which will unlock like a hardcore mode, where if you die, you start right back at the beginning. So it's for people that really want a challenge. Kevlar, which is for lower difficulties. If you're not really good at shooter games or top-down games and stuff like that, you can play easy, which is a little bit easier and gives you Kevlar armor, which blocks hits and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. The main menu looks awesome. I love the hover, you know, the hovering, the buttons and shit. I could probably sit here for 5 minutes just hovering and clicking buttons for no reason. That's basically what I did for the past month almost, is just making the game better and working on the environment art, filling in the block out meshes and stuff. Of course, though, the environment art was taking a toll on me. I never wanted to really focus on environment art. So we actually got the level designer that was previously working on the game back in to help with environment art. And he's been doing some stuff. He actually just recently got in. So this is like up-to-date information for the devlog. So he's working in environment art and stuff like that. And he's also going to help with level design because we plan on adding 4 more levels while the game's in early access, which is hopefully going to release in early August. Hopefully. You know, previously we did say that the game would take 2 months, and now here we are in July. It took quite a bit to get to this stage, but I'm pretty damn happy with what we were able to come up with. Of course, I wanted this to be done in 2 to 3 months, but you know, shit happens. So yeah, hopefully the game should release in early August if all things go well. And then from there, you know, I'll be able to maybe do another devlog talking about how the game is selling and all that other stuff. You know, a little, I guess, post-mortem, or whatever that term is called. I think a post-mortem is when a project dies. Anywho, yeah, I'll make a video while the game's in early access. I'll give you guys a bunch of updates. There should be another trailer releasing hopefully soon. I haven't worked on it yet, but yeah, that's the devlog. From what I'm seeing, this is 30 minutes long. Hopefully it's not actually 30 minutes long, but if you did stick around for 30 minutes, if it was 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you like this structure as well for the video, let me know, because I kind of went with a more free flow video. I had a few people telling me I sounded very depressed and uninspired in my past few videos. Apparently. I don't know. Everyone's a critic these days. Of course, thank you to Xsola for sponsoring this video. Definitely, you know, take a look at the links down below and check out those links. It does actually help me as well if you check those out. And yeah, don't forget to check out the subathon on the 27th of July, which is probably tomorrow, hopefully, or today. It depends if I can edit this entire video today. It's Sunday. So yeah, check that out. That'll be on my Twitch, twitch.tv/firstcrimson. And other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for sticking around and supporting. And hopefully the next devlog won't be in another 6 months.